Hello, this is Donna Carroll, Love Consciousness, and welcome to Real Ascension. Today I'm going to reflect on the density, the emotions that I've been navigating recently. And I've called this reflection the darkest of days because the last 6 weeks have really been some of the most challenging, I would say, that I have experienced in a long time. The emotions that I'm moving through are extremely deep, are extremely painful, and I'm not getting a break. As I'm releasing one thing, the next layer's coming up to be felt and released, and this has been going on now, as I said, for 6 weeks. And yes, I can't lie, I'm finding it extremely challenging. And so I have been previously making a few reflections every week, and because of the depth of processing that I've been moving through, I haven't recorded anything for at least the last few weeks. And so I'm really pushing myself here, pushing myself through a barrier, if you like, pushing myself to just say what I'm experiencing, to speak authentically, to speak truthfully. And, just to remind you that these are my own personal experiences, and, as always, just take what resonates with you. Something that I share may be helpful in some way. And if not, that's okay. If you don't resonate, that's okay. So prior to the last 6 weeks, which, as I say, have been extremely challenging, I have been on this healing journey for around 10 years now, when I let go of 20 years of depression. And that was quite an extraordinary point in time for me, when I really, really had the proof, if you like, that healing was possible. And that suddenly this cloud or this weight that I'd been carrying around for as long as I can remember was lifted. And I quite simply experienced a complete paradigm shift in my sense of self and my sense of my reality. And moving forward from there, I really continued on the journey of self-development, self-love, and healing. And back then, I didn't realise that we were going to end up here. And so reflecting on the amount of healing that I've done over the last 10 years, I find it quite astonishing that even as we stand right now, this healing journey is still ongoing. And in fact, the density and the level of which that I'm feeling into to be released is so deep. A lot of what I'm processing and releasing, I don't even feel that it's connected to this life anymore. I feel that I've moved beyond that. I feel that I'm releasing, ancestral patterns, or I often feel that I'm releasing stuff from the collective. because as I'm releasing it, I can feel it throughout the collective. It's so deep. I can't even particularly put words to it. So, the first reason why it's been particularly challenging, what I've been experiencing recently, is because there's been no break for me. Now, normally, when I say normally, going back prior to these 6 weeks, there would be a break. I could almost take the healing, if you like, at my own pace. I could have these periods of expansion, of self-love, of connection, and then perhaps something would come to the surface and I could decide whether it was a good time for me to look deeper and release this thing, or whether it wasn't a good time and I could perhaps just push it to the side and look at it at a more convenient time. However, what I've been experiencing over the last 6 weeks is quite different. Number one, the things that are coming to the surface are extremely dense and extremely overpowering, if you like, and they just kind of grow in intensity if I don't look at them. So again, I don't feel like I have any choice but to face these things that are coming up to the surface. The way that they feel within my physical body, for example, is so uncomfortable that there's not really any way of me avoiding them. And if I'm honest, I wouldn't want to anyway. But yeah, things like distraction methods aren't really working. A lot of what I've been moving through has been layers and layers of fear. Fear towards all different types of things. Fear that I didn't even know that I had contained within my physical being. Now, for anyone that's worked through fear, it's obviously not the easiest emotion to work through anyway. Fear by its very nature is designed for when it pops up. We almost as a default are programmed to move away from it because it's a bit of a safety mechanism. Generally the things that we're afraid of are the things that are going to cause us some kind of harm. And so when we feel physical fear, we automatically find ourselves wanting to back away from whatever it is. However, the physical fear that I'm feeling is in my body, and it's not actually directed at anything in particular that's in front of me. It's also not budging, it's not going away. And so I found myself, over and over and over again over the last 6 weeks, having to feel into the most uncomfortable feelings within myself and move through these things, invite these uncomfortable feelings to come right up to the surface to be released. In that releasing, I've moved through so much sadness, so much anger, so much fear itself, feelings of deep disconnect, feelings of deep depression, all different types of anxieties. It's been really, really interesting, but also really, really difficult. And I mean, like I said, so difficult that I've not even made a recording because I've not actually got anything else really to talk about, because this period that I'm moving through has been also consuming. Even though I am trying my best not to attach and not to um, create stories around the things that I'm processing, because from a higher understanding, knowing that I am moving through deep, deep layers of energy that have probably been on the planet for thousands, if not millions of years. And so this is bigger than me. It's bigger than this single node of consciousness that I call Donna. Because I've not had a break, that's one of the things that's been particularly challenging. Now, when you get a little bit of a clearing and you get to just kind of almost feel the expansion that comes after the release, that obviously makes it easier. At least it's made it easier for me in the past. You know, I move through a layer of density. I feel extra expansion. I feel more connected than I ever have done. And that's great. And that shows me that the work I'm doing hasn't been for nothing. But when you don't get that clearing, when you don't get to experience that level of expansion, at least I haven't for 6 weeks now, it takes even greater awareness to move through this level of clearing, because it takes an immense amount of deep, deep inner trust and deep, deep surrender, knowing that you will come out the other side of it, because I have absolutely no solid proof that I will come out the other side of this. You know, I have nothing really that's guaranteeing me that I will make it through the other side of this deep processing that I am moving through. I have no solid guidance telling me that I'm almost at the end of this processing, and just to hang on in there, it's only another few days or perhaps another few weeks. For all I know, this could be it now for another few years, you know. So it takes an immense amount of trust, surrender and non-attachment to navigate this, you know. We're in the river rapids, you know, don't hang on to the riverbank, or you will feel that you're being torn apart. And by just accepting that this is how I'm feeling right now, means that I'm not attaching to it. I'm not ignoring it. That's really important. I am most definitely acknowledging that this is how my physical body feels. I am inviting release. So if this emotion, whatever it is that I'm feeling, wants to be released, if I feel a wave of sadness, for example, wanting to be released through tears, I will allow those tears to move through me. If I feel that the emotion wants to be expressed, perhaps it's the emotion of anger, I will find a healthy way of expressing that anger without causing myself or anyone else harm through that expression. So for example, I may just scream and shout in an empty room, or in the car, or I might record an angry message at someone but not send it, as a way of getting the emotion out as a way of allowing the energy to move through me. Remembering all the time that whilst you are allowing the energy to move through, to be released, that you're at least maintaining an aspect of yourself that can remain in a state of compassion and awareness. Now, this is something that takes practice. It's how do you express anger at the same time as compassion and awareness? It's just remembering to hold that place of compassion and awareness at the same time as you are allowing the anger to move through you, for example, or the sadness to move through you. You're not becoming the anger, you're not becoming the sadness. You are being aware that you're experiencing these things. And again, this is something that takes practice, but this is also part of releasing the density without recreating the pattern, so that once it's been released, that's been released for you. You don't have to relive that. And so if you've listened to some of my other recordings, you will understand how I see what's happening from a collective level at this particular point in time. And that is that the more light that's coming in, which is increasing all the time, the more of the old and the more of the dense energy, the lower patterns, however you want to describe that, it's a mismatch. The more they are being pushed up to the surface to be released. And I think that this is just a process that is already well underway, and it's inevitable that we will continue now on this process of releasing what is not compatible with this new energy, with these new higher frequencies. We will continue to dismantle these energetic patterns that are of the old system, if you like, until they have all been released, until we have completely released them from where they are stored, and that is within our physical body. And so it also helps just to understand what's actually happening, because if we can understand that this is part of a process, again, we can hopefully move into that space of not taking it personally, not moving into why is this happening to me, and why can't I just find a break, and why can't I be happy? Just allowing ourselves to move through this process best we can, with as much love and compassion as we can, knowing that we will find that clearing again, and that it is just a phase in which we are moving through right now, and everybody is moving through it. Nobody's exempt. It doesn't matter how advanced you think someone else is, how evolved you think someone else is. In fact, the individuals that are more evolved are moving through deeper and more painful layers of density, actually. So everybody's moving through this. Nobody's exempt from this. And the best we can do is to just find a way to navigate it that works for us, that works for each of us individually, without avoiding it, because avoiding it isn't helping. when we avoid these things because everything's been pushed up to the surface, we end up with a backlog. And so instead of just processing, one or two emotions, we can end up getting to the point where the emotions that are coming up to the surface are piling up to the point where it's completely unavoidable. And then we end up having to move through something that feels very overwhelming rather than just allowing things to release bit by bit as it comes up to the surface. So I made this little recording just to remind you that whatever you're going through, you're not alone. We're all going through this. Don't attach, don't take it personally, but certainly don't deny, acknowledge, and make space to allow whatever it is to be released from the physical part of you, to be released from your physical body. That's the most important thing here. To release from a place of compassion, to release from a place of not creating a story around what you're releasing. Because that way then, once you release this density that you're experiencing, that is, you released that pattern for you, and you will not have to loop round and relive that again. And so just spend some time just finding a little process that works for you to allow you to release these things as they come up, to allow things to move through you as they come up and as they're presented to you. And remembering to be kind to yourself, to be compassionate to yourself. This isn't easy. No one said it was easy, but you will get through it. You will get through it. I'll get through it. We'll get through it. And we are moving into brighter days. Brighter days where we are working and creating from new energy, completely new energy. And so if we can just get through this difficult part that we're in right now, this collective big purge, if you like, if we can just get through this, I truly trust and feel that better days are coming real soon. So thank you for listening. I'm sending you lots and lots of love, and I've created another couple of podcasts and reflections on transmuting of old energetic patterns, and a podcast called The Big Purge, where you can get more information if you'd like to dive into this topic a little bit deeper. And you can find these at Love Consciousness on our YouTube channel. So take care, lots and lots of love, and I will catch you soon. Bye bye for now.